WCBI News at 6 starts now.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Many of the student and instructor pilots at Columbus Air Force Base find themselves grounded tonight. A number of T-6 Texan II pilots have reported unexplained physiological events. The 19th Air Force commander issued the operational pause, and it starts today. Air Force officials say the physiological episodes happened within the last week at Columbus, Vance, and Shepherd Air Force bases. No details were released about the type of events the instructors or the student pilots experienced in the T-6 Texan II aircraft. Changes are being made to training awareness, procedures, and possibly equipment at the as the Air Force works to solve the problem. No timeline has been released on when the investigation could wrap up or when air training could restart. A Starkville woman is charged with second-degree murder in the death of her infant child. An Oktibbeha County grand jury indicted Latice Fisher on the murder charge. The baby died in April of last year. Court documents allege Fisher killed her child without premeditation and with a depraved heart. Fisher was hired in February of 2017 as a dispatcher at the Starkville Police Department. Mayor Lynn Spruill says Fisher's employment status is currently a personnel matter. Fisher's bond was set at $100,000. Her court date is set for April. Meanwhile, two men are facing charges after an alleged robbery in Columbus. It happened Wednesday afternoon. Police responded to the robbery call on Gardner Boulevard just before 1 p.m. The victim told investigators 53-year-old Franklin Honeycutt and 26-year-old David Berry assaulted him and then stole his cell phone and some cash. Lowndes County deputies later tracked down the suspects on Duncan Road. They were both arrested and charged with robbery. Bond for Honeycutt was set at $20,000. Berry's bond was set at $30,000. For a police force to do its job effectively, the department needs a good relationship with the community it serves. Some departments in our area have seen strengthened relationships. However, others are still trying to improve. WCBI's Parker King is live outside the Columbus Police Headquarters with more on how police here are planning to make better connections.
Andre, we talked to Chief Fred Shelton today, and he shared a little bit about what he's planning to strengthen those relationships. It involves community-wide events and an increased presence in the streets. We also took a trip over to Starkville, who just received a prestigious award for the community, just showing how well it pays off to have a strong relationship with your community as a police force.
The organization that contributed the most to the success of Starkville's tourism. It's a big honor. And it's what the partnership awarded Starkville PD at Tuesday's partnership banquet.
It was kind of a surprise to receive that award from the partnership.
Chief Frank Nichols, a man who's been on the Starkville force since '92, has seen these strengthened relationships for the last few years.
It's a true testament of the hard work of the people that's at this police department. I always tell people, you know, we got over 70 true professionals here that are dedicated to serving the public. And for me to be a part of that team, you know, is, to me is very humbling.
Nichols also says adapting to the environment has helped the department's relationship with Starkville.
Whether it's externally, like uniforms and badges, to internal mindsets. You know, we change with the mindset of the public, and you have to, because change is ever revolving.
Just a short drive down 82, Columbus's Police Overview Committee prepares an agenda. Chief Fred Shelton says their community relations haven't always been great.
We've had some strained relations, but I believe our relationship is getting a lot better.
And with the help from the Overview Committee, Shelton looks to strengthen those bonds.
We're planning things for spring break. We're planning programs for the summer, working with Columbus Lowndes Recreation Authority and working with the school system. So we got some wonderful things in place.
Some of these ideas are what Shelton has been planning his whole career.
I said when I was a young patrolman that if I was the chief, I would do this, I would do that, I would make the department better. So now that I'm the chief, I can do some of the things, the ideas that I had when I was a young patrolman that make the police department better.
Efforts like this can help achieve the big picture, that we're all in this together.
We are the community, so we make it our business and make it our point to get out in the community and to serve.
Recruiting the right people is also a key part of maintaining these relationships. Now, Starkville just hired some new officers just today in Columbus. Chief Shelton tells us that they're just 5 officers short from a full force. Outside the CPD headquarters in Columbus, Parker King, WCBI News.
Well, one police force is using social media to reach residents, and now you can ride along. On Friday evening, the Oxford Police will host what they call a virtual ride-along. Officers will be live tweeting from each call they answer. The police department has an active and popular presence on social media, and the virtual ride-along has been a favorite of its Twitter followers. Captain Hilden Sessom says it gives the public a good idea of what police officers encounter during the course of a shift.
A lot of times there's a lot of misconceptions about police work and that we're just out here writing tickets and just trying to arrest folks, when actually there's a whole lot more that actually goes on. We'll get a lot of questions about police work and what we do and why we did it, and that back and forth between us and them is what actually makes the virtual ride-along great.
The virtual ride-along starts at 6 on Friday evening. You can ride along on Twitter. Just use the hashtag #RideWithOPD. Well, state troopers want to make sure you make it safely to and from your Super Bowl parties this Sunday. The Highway Patrol is participating in a national campaign. It's called Operation Crash Awareness and Reduction, or CARE for short. It's set to take place between noon and midnight this Sunday. Troopers will be holding saturation patrols and setting up safety checkpoints. Traffic stats show that impaired driving crashes actually spike on Super Bowl Sunday every year. Troopers urge you to designate drivers if you will be attending a Super Bowl party. Time for a first look at our forecast. We'll turn it over to Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson, and that rain finally moved into Columbus.
Wet weather right now. We were talking about the possibility of some showers today. We got it. We have it right now in Vernon, Alabama. A live look with our Alpha Insurance camera right there. Let's go to Columbus downtown outside WCBI. Low clouds, some decent rain in some spots and pockets of some heavy rain southeastern Lamar County, parts of northwestern Pickens County out towards Lowndes and Oktibbeha counties here in eastern Mississippi. The heaviest rain now shifting east of Columbus, and that will go away later on this evening. So we have some wet weather out there right now. Temperatures are cooling on down already into the 40s and 30s northwest. We will be down to around 30 tonight. More on that in just a few minutes.
Chickasaw County town and school are working together to keep an eye on their students. About a month ago, Hulka leaders passed a new curfew ordinance for children 18 and under. Our Jory Talley joins us in the studio with more on it. Jory?
The new ordinance comes after the town was having some issues with their young people staying out too late around the town.
Hulka has had a curfew in place for several years, but recently there have been some issues with teens ignoring the rules. Hanging out here too late at night is one reason why the police chief went to town leaders.
We re-looked at this thing and redrew it up and put some new implements in place to kind of try to curb any activities, illegal activities or what have you that would be going on at nighttime.
The goal of the new times is safety for the teens and the town.
We didn't have any problem, like I said, we just had a couple of issues. You know, when you get a bunch of kids together and they're sitting out here and they're on their Wi-Fi, you know, and you're going to have some arguments and things, but nothing major, you know. Just trying to stop it before it did happen.
Hulka attendant center principal Anthony Golding says the town and school working together for the best interest of their students is a step in the right direction.
The old saying is it takes a village to raise a child. So with the fact that the town and the school is working together to hold the students accountable is a good thing.
If students are out around the town during school hours and aren't home by 9 during the week and 11 on the weekends, then parents or guardians are faced with paying a fine.
If you have a child out here running around during the daytime that should be in school and he's not in school, then why is he not in school, you know? So there's an issue there that needs to be addressed, you know, to try to find out what's going on here, you know, what kind of problems is a child having where you're not at school.
The mayor and Golding have both seen a difference since the curfew went into effect on January 1st.
Just like any other school, we did have some students showing up late, staying out late, breaking the curfew, and so having students show up on time when school starts is gonna help boost our academic achievement.
Mayor Kelly says police officers are spreading the word about the new rules. The law applies to juveniles, but the parents or guardians are the ones who get fined if the curfew is broken. First offense is a $50 fine and then doubles every time it's violated.
All right, Jory in our studio with that story. A special exhibit spotlights servicemen who fought for freedom overseas and at home. We have their story when we come back. Welcome back. Black History Month begins today. It's one way to honor the heritage and culture of African Americans. As part of this celebration of history, this month we will introduce you to a few of our neighbors. They aren't famous, they aren't probably rich, and if we didn't share their stories, these individuals might continue to live quiet lives as the listeners, the encouragers, and the day-to-day doers of North Mississippi. But we want you to meet them. We began in the studio with WCBI's Victoria Bailey.
A Winston County man wasn't much more than a boy when he left home to serve his country in Vietnam. Things were hard growing up. War was hell. And coming home meant coming back to hard times once again. With all of the obstacles and challenges in his life, this man continues to serve his community.
Meet longtime Winston County resident Billy Ray Metz.
I grew up in the rural, on a farm, and we, had to work pretty hard, on that farm.
He grew up during an era when black people had very few rights.
In the school season, we was only probably allowed to get in school maybe about a half a year or so. And I thank God that we was able to achieve what we achieved under those circumstances.
Metz and his family moved to Louisville when he was older. That's where he got the letter inducting him into the United States military.
And we was transferred to Louisiana, and that was Fort Polk. And that was the base that was preparing young men for the war, because the terrain and the setting that was there,
Soldiers had to prepare for the emotions of separation from home. And after experiencing the hardships of the Jim Crow South, Metz says strangely, it was nice to be unified with his white combat buddies.
I think everybody was a little apprehensive about being in that kind of setting. So that kind of brought us a little bit closer together, because just as myself, this was the first time they was away from home in a setting like that. So, we try to find some relationship, to help us to cope with being away from home.
While on patrol one day in Vietnam, Metz stepped on a landmine, losing both of his legs.
We was disarming, mines, anti-personnel mines. The circumstances that I face right now as an amputee, I feel like, that this is not the handicap, it's just a physical situation. And, I look at the handicap as being in the mind of each individual who choose to just not do.
Now, after returning from the war, Metz spent 20 years working as an in-school supervisor at Louisville Alternative School. He's currently enrolled at New Foundation Seminary School, and now Metz spends much of his time volunteering in the community and mentoring the youth, encouraging students to continue their education.
Cooler air is rushing on into the region right now, and we should be down into the mid to upper 20s to around 30 degrees by daybreak tomorrow with clear skies, but the wind chill may be down into the teens. Full forecast is next.
Your first alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
It is great to see you on this Thursday evening. Some threatening weather earlier today, at least some threatening clouds. That was the view from Eupora this afternoon. Now we had no strong storms. We had no thunderstorms in general, no severe weather. That's always a good thing with a passing cold front this time of year. This is our Alpha Insurance time lapse from Columbus. We broke out into a little bit of sunshine today. That boosted our highs in the Golden Triangle area to around 70, mid to upper 60s. And then the front came on in, some showers here this evening. And if you're behind the front, it's much, much colder. The wind is picking on up, and that will usher in those chillier temperatures for tomorrow morning. We still have some pretty good downpours from Fayette, Alabama through northwestern Pickens County, just northwest of Reform. This is now southeast of Columbus, the heaviest rain, but some showers back through Columbus and along 82 out towards Starkville and down to the south as well, southeast of Macon and parts of Winston County. Some lighter nuisance type activity here towards Pontotoc and Saltillo. That is much much lighter than what we had earlier today and much lighter than what we have right now. This little line of showers perking on up and moving away from us right now. So that's where we have the rain. This is what we have had over the last 12 hours, generally less than 1/4 of an inch. So meager amounts of moisture, but let's just say this. Anything is welcome considering the drought conditions we have around the region. The more significant moisture up here across the Appalachians, even some snow. Look at that. Snowflakes there in northern Tennessee and parts of Kentucky right now, but we are going to miss out on that. 43 in Tupelo, 44 in Memphis, 57 in Columbus, and 66 in Meridian. Notice the wind speed sustained now 10 to 20 with some gusts higher than that here across North Mississippi, and those breezes will continue this evening and tonight. Eventually we'll clear things out and we'll really get cold down into the upper 20s to mid 20s to around 30 degrees. Northwest winds at 10 to 20. As I mentioned going to break, wind chills upper teens around sunrise. So jackets needed late tonight and for your morning commute. Low to mid 40s across the region for our Friday, but hey, it's going to be sunny, right? So we'll take that. More sunshine, cooler weather, or clouds and the rain. What do you want? Well, we have everything, it seems like, in the 7-day forecast. So this is our planner for Friday. Some more sunshine around here. We're going to have some clouds increase around the region on Saturday, upper 40s. 50s now on Sunday. I think the best chance of rain this weekend will be Saturday night and Sunday morning, Andrea. So Sunday afternoon could be okay. And some more wet weather Tuesday and Wednesday.
Coming up, a preview of tonight's big games in women's college basketball, plus some recruiting news. That's next in sports.
WCBI Sports with Robbie Donahoe is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
The MSU men's basketball team had a big road win last night at South Carolina, and the women hope to continue the road prowess going on the road tonight at Missouri. It's a top 15 showdown. The Tigers are 15th in the country. As you know, Mississippi State is 2nd in the country. It's going to be a very physical basketball game. Missouri plays a slugfest brand of basketball. You know all about Sophie Cunningham. She can get in there and sort of mess with you a little bit. It's going to be a good one. 7:30 p.m. tip time. You can watch the game on the SEC Network. We'll have highlights and recap coming up tonight at 10. Other games. This is a big night of SEC women's basketball. A&M Tennessee are going on right now on SEC Network, so flip over there after you're done here on WCBI News. And then also UConn at South Carolina. That's being played right now on ESPN, so I'm going to run back and watch that. Ole Miss Vanderbilt tipped off at 6. Rebels currently trailing the Commodores. At last check, 19-9 in the first quarter, so Matt Insell's crew has some work to do. And as you know by now, MSU Mizzou, 7:30 p.m. tip-off on SEC Network. To signing day from today, over at Caledonia, Hope Harbin signed to continue her softball career at ICC. Last year, Harbin had a .561 batting average during the regular season, 49 stolen bases out of 50 attempts. That's exceptional. She led her team to the Class 4A North Half Final, 1 game away from playing for that state championship. That will certainly draw the Lady Feds this year. The switch hitter also had 15 other college offers with the likes of Southern Miss and EMCC, but when she made the trip to Fulton and toured the ICC campus, she felt that it was the best fit for her.
Me and the coach had a really good relationship, and I like the atmosphere there and all the people there. And I know all the players on the team, and they're all really nice and stuff.
Austin Morphus will be putting pen to paper next week on signing day as he announced his destination, EMCC. He announced that on Twitter today. Morphus has just been a load throughout his entire career playing high school football in Pontotoc County. 39 total touchdowns during his career playing high school football. He chose EMCC over reported offers from Louisiana Monroe, Tulane, Southern Miss, amongst many others. So this is a big-time get for EMCC. And he wasn't the only commitment from today. Natron Brooks, the DB from Starkville, committed to Colin, and Houston DB Zykiel Vergis committed to Mississippi Delta Community College. So we were busy with our JUCO commitments from today. And don't forget, we wrap it all up on National Signing Day every year. It'll come up Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. with our Signing Day special. You can watch it on WCBI. We'll have every signing from our area. We'll run down the remaining national signings and break down the MSU, Ole Miss, and Alabama classes. We'll have interviews, celebrations, smiles, all sorts of great stuff. So make sure you don't miss out on our National Signing Day special. That's coming up Wednesday at 6:30. And for those of you who are planning to make the trip to Hattiesburg for that Mississippi State Southern Miss baseball series, you better have your tickets, because if you don't, you're going to be left out. Southern Miss announced today that it will be a sellout at Pete Taylor Park when the Bulldogs and the Golden Eagles go at it 2 weeks from Friday. had a great regional last year, really fun, festive environment at the Roost and Hattiesburg. So make sure you have your tickets now. If you don't, you're going to be missing out. It should be a fun opening series to begin the season down in Hattiesburg between Mississippi State and Southern Miss. That's it for sports. We'll get a last look at your forecast when we come back.
Mississippi University for Women is helping local students learn to eat healthier. Children at Sudduth Elementary School in Starkville were taught the importance of healthy lifestyle choices when it comes to eating. It's part of a year-long program, Passport to Wellness, that is. Mississippi is #1 state in childhood obesity, so hopefully teaching these healthy eating habits at a young age can help the kids change that.
And here's a tip. Don't eat a family-sized bag of M&Ms before the 5 o'clock news.
Don't do it.
That's what I did today. I'm guilty of it. Okay, showers on the way out. Still some wet weather out there right now. But if you work out enough like I do, it kind of burns away. But still, though, it's
when you buy
almost
those
too much.
shareable bags, it says you're supposed to
shareable,
share
right.
them
You
with
share
someone else.
fistful after fistful. But cooler tomorrow. Plan on wearing that coat because we will be in the 40s.
All right, and the rain tapers off.
Goes away
tonight.
this evening. We're looking pretty good for Friday. And next chance for rain will be Saturday night and Sunday morning.
All right, that is the news at 6 o'clock. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday evening.